being a utility guy, being serviceable in multiple positions, being able to do that at a high level, that could be a superpower, bro.
Do I go and I play a little second and play a little third? I even started telling them I can play outfield.
Romine, by the way, is in right field. So right on our way to the bottom of the fourth, and Andrew Romine now has moved to third base.
And if that's playing second and first and third and outfield, then I'm doing it, because you know as well as I do, once you get there, you don't want to go back to AAA, and you'll do anything you can to stay.
Well, it's official now. Andrew Romine will go to first base. He has now played all 9 positions in the same game, and so you can check off every single box.
Most players dream about getting to the big leagues, but very few figure out how to stay there. Today's guest didn't just make it, he made it last. Over a decade in the show, 11 years, 6 orgs, and a career built on one thing that every young player needs to hear about: adaptability. I got to share a locker room with this dude my last year with the Cubs. We went through it together, man. COVID outbreaks, alternate sites, the grind of being the older guys, still trying to feel like you belong, right? What stood out to me through all of this madness was Andrew Romine went about his business like a pro's pro. Nothing flashy, man, nothing forced, just consistent, deliberate, and competitive as hell. Now this dude is the Milwaukee Brewers infield coordinator, helping the next generation of big leaguers do exactly what he did: survive, adapt, and thrive. It is an absolute honor to welcome Andrew Romine to the show. Romy, what's going on, brother?
Hey, Ian, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me on. I was looking forward to this for about a year or two now, since we got done playing together, and I got to see you come on here and spit some pretty good information for these young guys in the next generation, as you said. So I've been looking forward to this. I know that you and I, like you said, we played together in our last year in 21, and we got to have these conversations quite often. So I feel like this is going to be a great opportunity for us to kind of shed some spotlight on what we went through and how we got through it.
100%, brother. So obviously, being the infield coordinator right now with the Brewers, you got some guys in the Arizona Fall League. We saw the incredible run that you guys had, pulling for you guys, man. What's life like for you right now, man? What's the day-to-day? What are you doing? And like, dude, how is it living the dream?
Yeah, so we obviously great run. I think we outperformed what even we thought we were capable of over here at the Brewers. So awesome to see the guys perform the way they did. We got a lot of young guys. One of the things that we pride ourselves on at the Brewers is that we don't have all that money that some of the other teams have, but we prioritize our staff and how that we can connect with players, finding ways to develop staff and players from within. So we really prioritize the person over money, bigger issues, things, clout, things like that. So we're trying to get the right people to help our players progress through the minor league system.
Makes a ton of sense, dude. Makes a ton of sense. What, dude, take me back to kind of how your entire journey started a little bit, dude, almost like the foundation. So we talk about this at a high level with the younger players, man. Build that strong foundation, the fundamentals, man. Build that stuff from the ground up. Dude, you come from a baseball family, right? Where your old man played in the big leagues, dude, your younger brother as well. So we talk about it with the younger crew, man. It's important to build the foundation, learn the fundamentals, and build on that from the ground up, right? So kind of take me back where it all started for you, dude. You obviously come from a baseball family, right? Your old man played in the big leagues, dude. Your brother as well, dude. What's been like the biggest truth that you learned early about what it takes to make it?
Oh, biggest truth about what it takes. Gosh, I don't know. If I had to pick one, never giving up, never stopping. If you can keep going and push aside, and obviously we can get into the weeds of these, mental focus, mental preparation, breathing techniques, getting through failure. But I think that all of those things kind of coincide and come to a one word of just consistency. Being consistent with your work, being consistent with your routine, being consistent with how much effort you're putting into the work that you're doing. There's a lot of things that you can try and be good at, but I think if you're not consistently good at things, then you're probably not going to make it.
So we talk about, okay, consistency is huge. Obviously, the love for the game is another thing as well, dude. Do we talk about like not pushing people to try to play the game, whether it's our kids or, our friends, whatever it is, dude. If you're looking back on your journey, being in that competitive household, maybe, your dad playing, dude, your brother playing. I mean, did baseball ever stop being fun and a game to you? Like, when was that?
No, baseball.
Never?
Baseball was everything, man. Baseball,
Yeah.
and it wasn't forced. It wasn't. My dad wasn't forcing us. He never made us do anything. But from the moment that we got home, it was baseball in the backyard. It was baseball in the front yard. My brother and I played every single day.
Mm.
We never stopped liking it, playing. And I think that's one of the main reasons why our work never felt like work. It just felt like we were playing.
What's going on, guys? I wanted to interrupt real quick to bring attention to a financial literacy piece that is a must have for you in your baseball career, or your son's baseball career, or your player's baseball career. This is called the Money Playbook. So, this teaches financial concepts and gives financial literacy and financial topics to baseball players and athletes, whether you are a professional, whether you are a college athlete, a student athlete. Man, nowadays we understand that NIL money is prevalent. NIL deals allow baseball players, allow college athletes to use their name, image, and likeness in order to get paid. The landscape of college baseball and the landscape of amateur athletics is changing, and financial literacy is prevalent and can only help your overall development in the game. Go check it out.
Which actually leads into some of the things that we try and teach from our side of the ball on the coaching side with my staff is let's try and trick these guys into thinking that they're just having fun when they're really practicing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, dude, it's not. We're not getting after it, dude. We're having fun. I love that, dude. Try to make it like almost like a game, right? Competitions, and dude, I love it. Dude, so we talked a little bit about your brother playing in the big leagues as well. He's obviously a bigger guy, dude, a catcher, right? Physically imposing, dude. When we talk about being a 9-hole hitter, we weren't necessarily the biggest baseball players, right? At what point for you coming up playing advanced baseball did it stop being about like just talent, dude, and like it started becoming like survival, man? At what point was that for you?
I felt like I got my first taste of that in college. So I went to
Mm.
ASU. I played there for 3 years, 05, 06, 07. So the first time I got to college in 05 was, all right, everybody's really good. Everybody's really good. Now it's going to be the difference of, okay, he can throw and he can hit and he can run and so can I. But am I doing all of the little things to make myself stand out? Because so one of the analogies I like to use with our guys, I got two players. I got player A and player B. Player A hits 300, 400 on base percentage, 10 home runs. Player B, exactly the same exact numbers. So how are we going to choose, right?
Mm.
Do you hustle? Do you prepare? Are you mentally in the game for all 9 innings? Are you a good teammate, right? We can go down the list of all the things that are going to make you stand out that aren't what's your batting average, how many home runs do you have, how many errors did you make?
Mm. Tough to over. That's stuff that's obviously overlooked in today's game, dude. Fundamentals, the basics, all that stuff, dude. Like, dude. Okay, so another thing that I don't want to say isn't sexy, man, but like being a utility guy, being serviceable in multiple positions, being able to do that at a high level, that could be a superpower, bro. Like, at what point for you did you realize that your superpower was your versatility, man, and like not just being dominant or good in one thing, man, but being trusted to do whatever was needed.
Yeah, so that actually didn't happen until I got to AAA with the Angels, and Eric Ibar had just made the All-Star team and
Mm.
signed an extension, and he was playing short. So I'm now stuck. I'm stuck in AAA behind an All-Star, and I ain't going to be playing over him. So basically I said, do I want to pigeonhole myself into I'm a shortstop, that's what I do, and you better play me here or trade me? Or do I go and I play a little second, I play a little third? I even started
Mm.
telling them I can play outfield. My theory was I'm a good enough athlete to do all those positions, but I'm not good enough to overtake one specific person. So I'm going to find a way to get to the big leagues. And if that's playing second and first and third and outfield, then I'm doing it because you know as well as I do, once you get there, you don't want to go back to AAA and you'll do anything you can to stay. So for me, that was learn how to play second better than the second baseman, learn how to play first better than the first baseman.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I got to ask you about that. So, like, I was extremely fortunate enough to be a September call-up. I was extremely fortunate to get an opportunity, very short with the Cubs, dude, a week, right? You spent over a decade in the show. You've seen dudes have enormous careers, like monumental stuff. Like, what separates the dudes that are able to stay there? Like, what kept you there, man?
Oh, my work kept me there. My determination, my consistency with those things. I'm not saying you have to be consistent with your results, but you have to be consistent with the work that you're doing leading up to the game. You talk about it in your playbook. You talk about preparing for the at bat, and then once you're in the at bat, you're not practicing anymore. You're not trying to do things anymore. It was do everything you possibly can leading up to this moment, and now you versus me, whatever you got, whatever I got. Now all that work was done. I can clear my head. I had a great coach. We called him Jeter Hines. It was Bruce Hines was the farm director for the Angels when I was in the minor leagues, and he used to tell me that you're gonna come across times where you could not work hard. You could get away with just going through the motions, right? But that guy next to you who's trying to take your position might not be. So you want to take that risk and just go through all the work that everybody else is doing with no intensity, no intention, no consistency to the energy. That's your prerogative, and we can't force you to do it. But if you want to chase that dream and you want to be the one who gets to the big leagues, there's no substitution for the hard work. Reps. Reps are great, but if you don't have intent behind them, that's where you're going to lose it.
100%, dude. We've talked about it here on the 9-hole where it's like, dude, there was a Harvard study done where 47% of your day is going through on autopilot, right? So we're thinking about shit that hasn't happened yet. We're thinking about the future, dude. We're thinking about our math test tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like we're not here right now. So if I'm trying to beat a dude that is talented, I mean, we're all talented at the next level, right? I'm trying to make it to the big leagues, dude. How am I going to beat that guy being 5'11" and 170 pounds? I don't know, dude. He's wasting a little time. I'm wasting a little time. Maybe I shave that down. I don't know, man. Maybe that's my superpower. Maybe I'm able to get a little edge over that guy, and maybe I'm able to have momentum there, dude. I love that, dude.
Yeah,
I love that.
I also think that focusing on the things that you're good at, it's a weird concept here when it's offense versus defense. On offense, focus on the pitches you're good at hitting. Focus on the attack plan that gets you to the right place. Don't go out there trying to hit that nasty slider. Don't go out there trying, what does he throw, a splitter? Let me look for his split. Come on, you're crazy. You're crazy. That's what he wants you to do.
Yes.
Look for what you can do. Look for your fastball away. Look for a hanging changeup or something that you know that you're good at. But focus, the priority of your work is going to be on what you want. What pitch do I want? What at bat am I looking at? What kind of situation do I want to arise here? And then on the defensive side, I felt like it was the opposite. I felt like you have to go practice the ones that you're not good at. If you're struggling on backhands, you can't just ignore it like a nasty back foot slider. You can't just say, I'm going to take all of these. No, you can't take all the backhands. You got to go get them and you got to throw them. So I feel like on offense, practice the stuff that you're good at, get really, really honed in on it. And then on defense, practice everything. Even if it makes you look stupid, doesn't matter, right? None of that stuff matters. Like, I know it's hard to do, especially when you get to the big leagues and there's that third deck, and it's a lot of people and there's some cameras that are giant and they're right there in your face. It's hard to block that stuff out. Now, that might be just parents, at the high school level, or it might be coaches or scouts that are making you nervous. But, man, I like to say it this way. They had their chance. They got to play. Don't let those outside things come in and ruin the fun that you're having and the dream that you're chasing, because it's going to distract you. It's going to distract you.
Ooh, dude, that is huge. So many, there's a million distractions, right? So like that third deck theory that happened to me, you get up there, you're like, whoa, this is happening. Oh my gosh. We talk about our individual careers, dude. We're trying to remain like locked in, confident and focused. There's a million distractions day to day, ups and downs, right? Dude, as we get closer to the big leagues, you talked about being able to fit a mold a little bit, being able to be serviceable in multiple positions, try different things, eye bars in front of you, right? Can be tough when we don't have that spotlight on us, man, where we kind of come from being a dude and then it's like, oh crap, bro, I got to fit a mold. I was a dude. I got drafted out of, wherever I came from. And now I'm here. I'm a utility guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, dude, that can be a mental shift almost. So like, how were you able to mentally approach that? So like you were the dude that was able to fill roles. You were the guy that was plugging holes, man. Doesn't necessarily always get the spotlight directly on him, dude. But still is able to have a huge impact, dude. Like, how were you able to do that?
Yeah, I think it took change. It took change because I was a dude coming up. I was a dude everywhere I played short.
You have to be to get there, right?
Right.
Like,
everybody's a dude where they come from. So you finally meet, your match and your talent level, or you get to the big leagues and you're Shohei Ohtani, and everybody else is trying to reach you. But that's very few and far between people. So I don't want to downplay things and say that you're never going to be Shohei. You might be Shohei. If you're listening to this, you might be the next Shohei. But statistically speaking, let's go about it like you're not going to be Shohei and do all the work. Do all the extra. Make sure that there's no excuses. So when, it finally comes and you got to hang up those cleats, you don't go, oh man, I'm not Shohei. I probably should have worked harder.
100%, dude. 100%. Drive you nuts.
Yeah.
Being able to kind of hang on that.
You want to know what drives me nuts is seeing guys that God touched with talent and they don't work and they don't utilize it. They just kind of go through the motions because there's a lot of people out there that were much better than me that I was coming up through the systems with, and they ended up not making it. Why? They have better talent. They could hit more home runs. They could throw the ball harder, but there's a lot of intangible things that happen. And the funny thing is they're not the hard things. It's really hard to hit a baseball. It's not hard to show up on time. It's not hard to have a good attitude. It's not hard to bring energy and be a good teammate. These things are super easy things. But again, you got player A, player B. Those things can make player B be the starter.
For sure, dude. So like that player A, player B theory where same here, bro. So it's like, I'm the underdog, 9-hole hitter, 14th rounder, whatever that means, dude. And we got guys with Greek god bodies, that are crushing in and out with 16 abs, and then they got legs with tree trunks. You know what I mean? It's absolutely absurd. Throwing a hunch, not long tossing. It's absolutely wild. But then we see those guys fizzle out or not make it, dude. And we see, the confident underdog is able to rise and like remain consistent, even if it's just a little 1% every day, even if it's not Paul Skeens or Ohtani, dude. Right? So like, what is the difference that you've seen between those dudes that are maybe entitled and dudes that are maybe confident?
Yeah.
Right? Like, what's the difference between that, and how does that even show up in today's player, the dudes that you're working with?
So the confidence comes from results. Usually, guys will have success. You get a little bit of success, you get some confidence. Oh, I can do that, right? And I'll say this to guys a lot. Have you ever hit 98 before? Have you ever hit 97? Got a hit? Yeah. Well, can you do it again? Probably. Okay. Well, can you do it 3 times? 4? Yeah. So just doing something once, you're like, I got it. I can do that, or I felt that. I understand that I'm capable of doing that. Now, how do I do it again and again and again? So I feel like the difference between those guys that are at the highest level, those Mike Trouts, those Ohtanis, those Harpers, those guys know what they're capable of. And the cloud of, can I do it? Can I not? That doesn't exist anymore. That cloud's gone because they got rid of it. Just with a little bit of success. Now that stays, that confidence stays with the preparation. If you prepare leading up until the game or leading up to your at bat or whatever it is that you got to do, you got to go perform. If you prepared sufficiently, you won't have any doubts in your mind. And if you go in and you fail, I did everything I could. I did everything I possibly could. If you can say that, then you can sleep at night perfectly, right? But as well as I do, there's plenty of days where we go back and, man, I didn't prepare for that game. Yeah. I went over because I did not prepare. I showed up and I was tired, or we had a late night last night, day game after night game. I just show and go. Why? Why are you showing and going? Because that pitcher isn't showing and going. He's going out there and doing his full routine before he comes in and pumps 95. So I feel like the consistency 100%. And the work is what got guys up there to the point where they don't see failure. They see either success or a learning moment, right? Something to learn from. There's no failure in this. It's just something to grow on.
Little growth mindset piece right there.
I love growth mindset. It just I've always been a guy who doesn't have the time to sit around and sulk and be, oh, let's talk about how you feel about that and what were what was going through your body. I always want to just move. How do we fix it? What did I learn? All right, I did that. Let's do this next time and let's move on. But that brings us to a topic that you and I had before this conversation started, before the Zoom. The guys nowadays, the day and age that we live in, they're much more in touch with their emotional side. So learning how to connect with these young guys and understanding, and it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing. The old suck it up, play better. If you don't like it, play better, right?
Yeah.
It still works. It still works. But we have to understand that this next generation, like emotionally, mentally, they're advanced. They're advanced past what we were when we were their age, and we have to talk to them that way, and we have to understand. And that might be parents, that might be coaches, could be anywhere.
Yeah, dude, that's how I came up, right? Dude, if you don't like it, play better.
Yep.
That's how you fix stuff. You know what I mean? That's kind of how, dude. I'm wondering, man, how can I get a little bit more consistent? I mean, playing time, right? Consistent ABs, dude. Right? Have consistent results, dude. Put in consistent work, all that good stuff.
How do you get at bats? How do you get you talk about it? The coach got to trust you. They got to trust that this isn't going to be a wasted at bat right here, or you're going to get a day game start. Is the coach going, I don't know if he prepares well enough. Is he ready to play? No, the coach has never had that question whether Romine's ready to go in the game, whether it's to start the game or in the 4th inning or the 9th inning. This was an opportunity that I was not going to be unprepared for.
I love that, dude. I tell kids all the time, dude. Okay, so like the word trust shows up more almost than like talent in every pro clubhouse, dude. Like trust is what it's all about, dude. Everybody's talented. You know what I mean? They talk about trust more than talent when we get to the top level. You know what I mean?
Yep.
There's surviving in pro ball, and then there's playing the game within the game, dude.
Yep.
So like that utility role that you were able to maximize, man, you were able to provide immense value kind of all over the field, multiple spots in the order, dude. And maybe even provide consistent value when you weren't getting consistent ABs, whether we're off the bench, dude, or whether it's a spot start here and there, bro. Like in order to remain consistent, what were your non-negotiables in that role that you were maximizing?
So because of the fact that I had to be ready to play anywhere, I mean, other than catcher and pitcher, obviously, which I was the emergency catcher. Thank God that never happened. But I was ready. Like, to speak to that, I went and I caught bullpens every week in a position that I was never going to play. Never going to play, and I knew it. But in case it did happen, I was catching bullpens. So the work was very early. I would show up every day around noon when most guys would show up around 1 or 2, and I'd be out on the field doing early work at 3rd and 1st because I got to do my short and second during BP. Then I got to take some fly balls in the last round of BP and make sure I get some reads off the bat. It's just reps. It was reps because at that point, most of the work had already been done leading up to it. I think there's a misconception when a lot of people see big leaguers work. There's different kinds of big leaguers. There's the big leaguers that just got there and they're going to be crushing their work. There's the guys who have been there for a little bit. They know exactly what they need to do. They never miss it. They do everything that they need, and maybe they'll throw something extra in if they want, but they don't vary. They don't deviate from their plan once they find something that works. And when I say they don't deviate, I mean they'll eat the same thing. Some guys will, they'll eat the same thing every day at the same time from the same place. And I mean, I never got that crazy, but I did need to do my pre-work to stretch. I needed to do some running and sprints before. Then I would have to do glove work. Then I'd do my ground balls. Then I'd do my throwing. So it's a lot longer of a day than people think, and there's a lot more work that goes into it, especially when you're playing 4 or 5 different positions.
It's crazy, dude. Playing all those positions, maybe playing sporadically, kind of thrown into the fire, being asked to do multiple things.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy. Being able to be consistent and provide value, even crazier. You might not be able, you're not like afforded an insane amount of time to struggle, right? So like if you can't get a bunt down, dude, you can't get the ball in play, bro. You can't field the position at second or like, who cares, man? So like when you struggled, what did you do differently than most guys? in order to kind of regain that footing?
Oh man, I'll be honest with you. Coming up through the minor leagues, I was a bit of a hothead. So there was there
You?
you
Come on,
you
dude.
you know me. Most of these other guys, they see the retired Romine, and I'm a lot calmer. But you know how hot. It's hard. This is your life. This is your dream. This is everything you wanted. And if it doesn't go your way, how are you going to react? Are you going to freak out? Are you going to ruin the next 3 at bats of the day? Are you going to go home and stay up until 2 a.m, death scrolling because you're frustrated? Like it's hard, and all of us fall into it. But I'll tell you this: once you start to create routines, they become comfortable and they become easier, even if it's a hard routine. So I'll honestly, when we were in Iowa, talking with you was one of my decompression. Let's go hang out. We were in the same hotel, so we would go hang out and sit and have a drink and chat about the game, chat about the things that are struggling. And sometimes it wasn't baseball.
Yeah, dude.
A lot of times it wasn't baseball, because a lot of times that's not what's really frustrating us. Is it school? Is it family? Is there somebody sick or something? Everybody's going through something. So to be able to get away, maybe have somebody that you can talk to about the game who's going to be level-headed, like we were for each other, and you go over them and you talk about the things that frustrate you, but then you move on, right? And I think the people who struggle the most are the ones that can't move on.
Ooh, they're focused on the shit that's going wrong or the stuff that's against them, the stuff they can't even control, dude.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, dude, I continue to say own the controllables and just worry about that stuff. Like, until I'm blue in the face, dude. I feel like it's redundant. It's extremely vanilla. It's plain. It's boring, dude. But like,
Yeah, but
I mean,
greatness is boring. Greatness
ooh,
is a lot of boring stuff that nobody understands or sees because they don't go watch Shohei take 400 swings today. They just don't know it. They think everybody shows up at 6 o'clock for a 7 o'clock game. You're out of your mind. Do you know how many reps a Major League Baseball player has taken, whether it's swinging or throwing or fielding? And most guys think they're just going to do the minimum 7 ground balls they get in practice today. Come on now. Be realistic. Let's be realistic. You're trying to be a 0.0001% of the world, and you think you can skip on work?
stop it. Come on, dude. So okay, so at the top of this episode, bro, I alluded to you were a pros pro, man. Okay, so like we had to carry ourselves a little bit different. I learned a lot from you, even though it was my last year of professional baseball, right? But being a pros pro, handling things, carrying yourself, your presence a little differently than everybody else, right? So like, what does being a professional actually mean to you, dude? Now, especially that you've seen it from both sides, man. That player and that coordinator type of role.
Yeah, I think the number one thing is going to be how you react. How are you reacting to failure? How are you reacting to success? I can see a lot, and I can learn a lot about a guy pretty quickly just by watching him make one error or swinging a ball in the dirt, something. See how they react to it. I think from there you start coming down that list of, are they preparing? Are they a good teammate? Are they showing up on time? Are they doing extra work? And these are the easy things, which is ironic. But those things everybody can do. It doesn't matter how much talent you have. So I feel like those things, as you make it, you start at the top there and then make your way down that list. And those are the things that kind of set people apart. Those are the things that keep people around longer. Again, I always go back to the AB player. I don't want to be the one that gets passed over because I didn't do the easy shit.
Yes, dude. That AB player, man, getting passed over, maybe like that quad A. I don't want to say guy that continuously is going up and down and just can't like get the footing there. You know what I mean? Like that's not.
Yeah,
It's tough
and that's
being
timing.
able to.
Sometimes that's just timing. Who's in front of you?
Yes, dude. Absolute.
But that to me, that just meant I had to work more. That just meant I had to work more so that when I got that opportunity, which you said could be few and far between at bats, maybe one start a week when you're a bench guy, and you got to be ready for that, right? You got to be ready for that. Maybe 4 at bats you're going to get this week, maybe 8. Who knows?
Yes. So, dude, like, what kind of advice? So maybe that guy that is on the cusp, right? That AAA dude
Yeah.
that is just one step away, isn't getting any love, bro. I felt like that's where I spent the majority of my career almost. Like guys on the bubble, man. What do you got for them? A little advice to kind of help them get over that hump.
You got to be the most mentally tough person on the team.
Mm.
You have to go and find a way to get into the psych department, get into somebody that you can talk to, a buddy, a teammate, hash out games. Like go sit and watch games. Watch leaders, watch how Kobe Bryant talks in his, I'll go on YouTube and watch his videos. Go watch Michael Jordan, watch Tom Brady, watch how these guys talk and watch how they act. Because those are the type of people that people want to follow. You can be a utility guy and still people will look to you like you're a leader. You don't have to be Shohei Ohtani or Miguel Cabrera to be a leader on a team.
100%. Guys aren't going to see that because that's not what the stat sheet dictates,
Right.
or that's not what it says in the average column, right? We have our like identity and our worth tied to the stats almost, right?
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yep. And I'll tell you right now, these are conversations we have sitting behind closed doors about professional baseball players. You wouldn't think that would be an issue, but we talk about it. Are they a good teammate? No. Are they going to be a cancer in the locker room? And they're going to ruin the mojo that we have, So these things, once you get, like you said, once you get to the level where everybody's pretty close in talent, that's when it's like, well, what else you got? What else you got to contribute to this team? We're going to go win a World Series. I don't have time to worry about you over here whining and crying because you went 0 for 2 in your first at bats, right? We got a game to win. So I feel like there's so many other ways to contribute to a team aside from being a starter who hits 20 or 30 home runs,
Mm-hmm. And that's what we see, dude. And so, like, feel as though the fundamentals, the basics, dude, that foundation that we're supposed to be building, especially as underdog baseball players, dude, gets overshadowed and we get overwhelmed. And it's like, bro, we're one step away, but we can't hit 30 pumps in a year. We can't run a 6.2. And it's like, well, then we start kind of limiting ourselves in our head almost. So for the baseball players that are younger and are extremely impressionable, like, I mean, think about the stuff that you've been through, the stuff that you've understood, and the shit that you've kind of conquered, right? So, like, if you could talk to your 16-year-old self, the high school version of you, dude, I mean, what are you telling him and why?
Oh my God, calm down. Calm down. Tell myself to calm the hell down because everything was the end of the world. 0 for 4 today, end of the world. I can't hit anymore. I made 2 errors in a game. I never make errors. What's wrong with me? I can't catch a ball anymore. It was like the end of the world when I was young. And in reality, there's 2 ways to go about this. One, you didn't all of a sudden just lose it. Let's be honest. You didn't just forget how to hit a baseball. You didn't forget how to catch a ball. Like, you're fine. You'll be okay. Number 2, for God's sakes, have fun. Like, it's a game, and we call it a game, and you're supposed to play it like a game. Some of these people get paid a lot of money to play a game, but right now you're not getting paid. So enjoy it because one day it may not be there anymore. You may not get asked to throw a jersey on anymore. So you're gonna look back years from now, man, I wish I had just enjoyed it while I got it. Worked hard, played hard, had fun, and enjoyed baseball because in the end, it's still a game and it always will be. You're supposed to have fun.
Yeah, dude, you're supposed to have fun. It's a game. That often we miss that.
Oh yeah,
right? We get so caught up in trying to make it, dude, and become something. And dude, guys will get to AA, AAA, and they won't make it. And they'll say their careers are failures, right? We get so caught up in that, dude, and being able to, dude, even just play the game at a high level, do it consistently,
yeah.
have a career with it. It's huge, man.
Well, here, let me give you another perfect example. Matt Martin was the infield coach for me in Detroit when I was there. And I was frustrated. I was talking with him in the cage, just me and him one-on-one, talking about what I was capable of. I'm not playing to my potential, things like that. He goes, all right, I got Miguel Cabrera's bar of what he's capable of. I got your bar of what you're capable of. Now, at first, you would think like I'd be offended. I was like, all right, I get it. His bar is way bigger. Obviously, he was given different attributes by God. But if I max out right here, and I do everything I possibly can to max out what God gave me, and Miggy only does what I'm capable of maxing out at. Who accomplished more? Who did what they were capable of doing to their fullest extent? When God looks down and goes, I gave you this much, and Romine maxed it out, Miggy only went to like right there, right above him. He was still better than me by a lot. Let's not make any mistake here. He was better than me by a lot. but he was still capable of getting so much more out of himself. So he kind of reframed my mindset there and showed me, you got to stop comparing yourself to somebody else, right? You're never going to hit 50 home runs. And I was like, okay, I accept that. But you can do what God gave you to your fullest extent, and then you can be done with baseball and die and be gone and happy with everything you did.
Yeah.
You go see him and you go, man, I did everything you gave me, right?
That's an awesome way of putting it. I for whatever reason that resonates with me a little bit, like being able to maximize what you got, seeing that side by side, dude. I like that a lot. That puts it into perspective there, dude.
It doesn't matter what other people do. It doesn't matter how many that guy's hitting. Well, you do what you do. And if you do the best you can do, then you can sleep well at night.
Yes. 100%, man. So, Romy, I'm so grateful for the time, bro. Appreciate you letting me run you through the gauntlet. I got one or two more for you. So you've seen the game from both sides, right? So you were a player, man. Now we're a coach at a high level, right? We're the infield coordinator, man. What's the definition of an underdog for you now that you've seen that from both sides, man? Like, what's that grind, dude? What's that glory?
Well, you say it a lot, and I love the outro. Keep grinding, and I think that the 9-hole player, it epitomizes a grinder, like somebody who's not quite expected to be the guy, but you're grinding through it, and eventually you're going to get an opportunity to show what you got. So I feel like grinder, man. Like you gotta grind. If you're not going to be, the superstar, find a way to stand out. Find a way to do the other things. Grind.
Yes, opportunity's coming, dude. Like it's either going to expose you or it's going to reveal you.
I love that.
Right?
I love that one.
Maybe Shohei Ohtani gets consistent opportunities day in and day out to be Shohei, but like at some point, Andrew Romine is going to accidentally get an opportunity. And if you're able to make it, dude, I mean, you're able to capitalize. Maybe you get 10 plus years in the show. You know what I mean? And that's why we do this, dude.
It's a hell of a lot longer than I thought. I'll tell you that right now. Once you start seeing what's out there and how good these guys are, I never in my wildest dream thought 10, 11 years in the big leagues with all these Goliaths around me. It's pretty cool, but it was a lot of work. It was a lot of work, and my body is feeling it now that I'm done. But dude, it's well worth it. I'll take broken anything. I'll limp around with a cane if I could go back to the big leagues.
Absolute, bro. It's all worth it, man. It's all worth it, dude. That's what this show is all about, dude. Right? No BS, dude. No fairy tales, man. It's just truth. You know what I mean? The stuff you actually need to hear in order to get to the next level.
Yep.
Romy, I love it, bro. I appreciate you, brother, dude. This is huge value right here for every single underdog out there that's trying to like climb the ladder, right? Dude, I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate the time, man. Looking forward to seeing the continued success with the Brew Crew.
Yeah, I'm pumped that I got to be on here because this was something I wanted to do for a little while now. I love to see where it's going and what you guys are doing for the next generation. Because this stuff, man, I mean, if you guys have hung around long enough, I know we've been talking for a while, but this stuff is gold, and it's hard to come by the right stuff on the internet. There's a lot of bad things that you don't want to follow. So keep watching, keep following. The 9-hole is where it's at.
Love it. You heard the man. If you're serious about becoming the player you're meant to be, man, subscribe. Share this episode with a teammate who needs to hear it. Grab a copy of the Money Playbook, today's sponsor, man. Link is in the description. Appreciate you guys being here. Keep grinding. Appreciate you, Ro.
Love it. Thank you.